Good afternoon, YouTube. My name is Jackson. I'm going to be doing a review on my 2002 Ford Mustang GT. This thing has 69,000 miles on it, and it's got a 5-speed manual transmission. It's overall been a very good car to me. I've owned it since May, so 1, 2, 3, 4 months now. And I haven't had a complaint about it yet. It is filthy at the moment, but nobody has to pay attention to that. I have American muscle bullet style rims on the car with Mickey Thompson street pump tires. Got 315 by 35 in the rear and 275 by 40 in the front. I currently have a cold air intake on the car, a Trick-Flow plenum throttle body, and then a SLP loudmouth axle back in the rear for exhaust, and that's about all I have so far for it. But it just sounds really good. It's pretty throaty. It's not too much, but don't mind the mess on the interior. But the interior is the black on gray. I do have a aftermarket head unit in there, but the seats are overall in immaculate condition. It's also got a short shifter on the car. So it's for a 21-year-old car. This thing drives like brand new. I'd say if you have the opportunity to buy one, definitely go ahead and pick it up. I picked mine up for pretty cheap, and they're still going for cheap right now, but I don't know how long that'll last. I read somewhere, and I have to believe it because it was on TikTok, that these cars are going up in value. Now, I don't know how truthful that is, but for my own sanity and welfare, I'm going to believe it. So I've made a list of about 5 or 6 different things about the car that I do like. So I'm just gonna kind of get right into that list. So it's probably not the best filming setup ever. I know nobody wants to really see my face. They're here for the car. So I'm gonna entertain y'all and just kind of go for a drive, roll down the windows, let you hear what it sounds like. Like I was saying, I only have some basic bolt-on modifications to the car. Everything else is like just straight stock. So there's nothing really special in particular about this car, with the exception that it's yellow, bright yellow. I wasn't really in the market for a bright yellow Mustang when I bought this car in particular, but ended up in my hands at a good deal, so I ended up jumping on it. Came from a 2001 Ford Ranger with a 4-cylinder in it, so this is like super fast to me. I've had a 5-liter Coyote in the past, and that car was stupid fast, I think, in my opinion. I'm not a car expert per se. I'm just kind of giving you my telltale based off of the experiences that I've had with vehicles. So take it for what it is. I may not be 100% on point with my information, and that's fine, because I don't give a shit. I'm just here to make a video, post it, and have a good time. So first on my list that I love about this car is just the sound. And I'm not going to talk for this one. I don't feel like a whole lot of explanation is needed for what I just produced out of my tailpipes. Straight bald eagles in America. Number 2 on my list is the body style. The New Edge is one of those things where you either love it or you hate it. I think it might take more of a refined taste to truly appreciate the New Edge body style itself. And in my case, I've always loved them. I was a really big fan of the Salines of this year, this era, the SN95s. So, you know, I've always wanted one, and this one ended up in my hands after the Ranger. So I jumped on it, and here we are today. There's a lot of things that you can add to it to make it look pretty beefy and muscly. You know, like I really like the look of the Cobra front bumpers, which eventually I might end up doing, depending on how much money I want to throw into this thing. I think those look pretty cool. Another thing that I do really appreciate about the car is the interior, and it's really one of my preferences because it's nothing special. It's very simple, it's bare bones, straight to the point. There's no like extra buttons and shit that you don't really need in a car. It's just you know, what you need is what you get. So I got my air conditioning, climate controls, I have fog lights and traction control, and you know, my switches for lights and wipers and stuff like that, and that's all I really feel like I need. So for me, I really appreciate the interior. I like the double brow look of the dash. I think it's a pretty cool look. Overall, it's just simple and straight to the point. So that's what I do like about the interiors. More really like early Fords, you know, early 2000s to like late 90s Ford's interiors in general. I know for SM95s, they had the same interior for like 10 years. So in a 2002 or New Edge Mustang in general, you're not going to get anything special with the exception of maybe like a different shift knob. I have a short shifter with a different shift knob anyways, so it doesn't really matter to me. But just to kind of give you my take, not that it really means anything or has any level of value to anybody, but I do like the interiors, and I think that's one of the selling points. Another big thing that these New Edges are able to offer is actually pretty decent gas mileage. In the 4-cylinder Ford Ranger 2.3 liter, I was getting about 18 to 19 miles to the gallon, and I'm getting about 18, 19 miles to the gallon in this car. And I'm pretty conservative on the throttle, so I don't romp on it all the time, and that's probably a factor that attributes to my overall gas mileage or average. And I kind of consider that, but the fact that it's a possibility for you to be able to get that good of gas mileage out of a V8 from 2002 is just one thing that I didn't really consider right off the bat. So that's cool. More of a plus than anything else. But another thing is that these cars are super reliable. Probably sound like I'm just preaching to the kids' parents right now that's showing them the video saying, oh, this guy says it's reliable, but I mean, no shit giggles, it's pretty reliable. Legitimately, I've owned it for about 5 months. Every morning it starts right up. Granted, it does have low mileage, but I mean, these 4.6 liter V8s are pretty notorious for being a reliable motor, and you can build them to a certain extent and still get some good power out of them and reliability in the same respect. So that's cool. Just had a homeless guy do this to me. So I mean, the car has its faults and has a couple of flaws. Nothing that's like pertinent to you should buy it or you shouldn't buy it, but like for example, I wish they put a 6-speed transmission in these New Edges. I think that 6th gear would have been pretty beneficial on like highway drives and speeds. Anything really above 65 to 70, you're sitting right around 2,400 on the tach, which isn't horrible for the motor, but you know, the lower the better as far as I'm concerned when you're doing long drives. I'd like to see that tachometer drop just a little bit. But aside from that, I mean, there's some parts that are like wear and tear like any other make, model, and manufacturer. So like my seat belts, I ended up having to replace off of American Muscle. I think it was like 230 bucks for the pair. Both seat belts for driver and passenger. Ended up just getting lazy over time from doing this all the time, and it's a 21-year-old car, so it just wouldn't retract anymore. And that's not something that I like am saying fuck you Ford for, because it's something that I think is relatively self-explanatory for the age. You know, certain things of the interiors, they're not the best quality. It's not abnormal for the age of the car. So it's a stellar production car. I'm really impressed with how it looks, how it acts, how it drives, how it just maneuvers. I mean, it's a nimble car. These pillars in the back are fiberglass, aside from this, you know, high-strength steel structure that goes underneath them. But the car overall is I lost my train of thought because I just went over a speed bump and feel like I just rubbed my fuel tank on that's cool. Anyways, the car overall is pretty light, so I mean it drives nice, and it's not like a Nürburgring, you know, speed car that you would take around the track and like make crazy numbers and do crazy shit like that. But it's, you know, it's one of those cars, you know, you could drive and have fun. You know, you don't have to spend a ton of money to make some good numbers out of them. My plans for the car in the future, I really want to do some like thumper cams, or you know, some sort of camshaft that would make this thing sound like, you know, a 60s hot rod. I think those are cool. It's not really practical, but the practicality of modifications is pretty much out the window anyways, just by definition. So I'm also planning on getting a tuner for this car in the near future. So I'm going to do that here probably in the next couple weeks, see how much power I can squeeze out of just a bare bones stock kind of you know, platform. As obligatory as it sounds, just because I own the car, I think it's a great car. If you're looking to buy one, you're in the market for one, I would say go for it. I haven't regretted it yet, and I usually regret buying cars pretty shortly after I actually purchase them. So I've always been a Mustang fan. This is my first New Edge that I've owned, so I'm excited for the ride with this car, and I'm hoping that you guys will stick with me here as I kind of progress with my build and see where it goes. So I appreciate anyone who is watching to this point in the video. I know it's kind of a long video, not something that I really wanted to make this long, but it's been pretty fun. Like I said, this channel is more of a hobby for me at this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you on the next one.